Guys, internet, welcome, all you Netrunner loyalists. We are doing a very special Sunday night casual chill, little bit of throw some information your way on what's happening on something that just kind of it was something small, and then it kind of escalated rather quickly if you're watching the message boards. And we're going to talk Project NISEI with one of the what are you guys calling yourselves, the collective, the board here?
I actually am not one of the board.
Oh.
We're still in the process of selecting those people, and that's why we thought it would be important to throw out some information.
Oh, well, there you go. So you guys are like, even though you guys like came up with it,
Hmm.
you're not taking full control. It's not going to be a dictatorship here, right?
Exactly, and I can give credit where credit's due. I didn't come up with any of it. I'll get you some names here in just a second here.
Well, why don't you introduce
Uh,
yourself, brother, for those people that want to put a face to your name.
all right, all right. Yeah, so I'm Josh Swanner. I'm what we're calling acting PR right now. So we've got a bunch of people that decided to get together and form this thing and put some meat to it. And a lot of us right now that are working on it, we're considering ourselves acting staff, um, which basically means, we're just placeholders until we get some real talent in place and get the thing fleshed out fully. So I basically just kind of stepped up and started like writing announcements and stuff and going through like documents and stuff. So my Netrunner credentials, I have been playing about since halfway through Genesis, so
Ooh,
most of the game. Yep,
ancient.
ancient. Yep, old hat. I'm still not very good at it, so I haven't won anything. But I just really love the game. It was just like everybody else, kind of blown away by the announcement. And so anyway, what happened? And we let me pull up this handy little FAQ that we have.
I got mine on rock too, just in case.
Yeah. So what happened basically is after the announcement, there was a group of people that decided, we should talk about the future of this, like, because we don't want to stop playing. Netrunner is like a super great game. There's a lot of people that agree. There's something special about it. It's not like anything else. Not just because it's like asymmetrical, but just because like it doesn't play like any other game. The community is not really like any other community. So anyway, what happened is Samuel Grieve or at Greavy on Steam Slack got a bunch of people together and started a Facebook group to coordinate the future, maybe do more OP, make sure tournaments were going on. And then that migrated into a StimHack Slack channel called #Future. And then from there, well, actually, that was started by at Limrix. I don't know their real name, unfortunately. And then another person, Tammy Joe, created #future-op and #future-design. And long story short, what happened from there is a bunch of people started getting together and drafting documents. Just kind of like, how would we build an organization if we were going to do it? And NISEI is kind of a result of all that. So the big names that are involved right now are Jacob Morris from the Anchor Project.
Mhm.
I think you guys have actually had him on a couple of times.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the community already.
Hmm.
I mean, if you want a rules ninja to be a part of it, you got one.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
great addition right there.
Yeah, and he said right away, so he decided to become sort of dictatorial at first, the president of Netrunner, right? So he's our acting president right now. But he said right away, what we need to do is we need to hand off the torch like immediately, and we need to do it by selecting people from like a group of willing volunteers, and we need to make sure that it's done by people in the community that we trust. So really the only reason that he stepped up was to make sure that the organization was fleshed out in a meaningful way and that we could kind of condense everybody into one thing. So we jumped on this pretty quick. I think it's been like 2 weeks since the announcement?
Yeah. Something like that. Very, very, very fresh since whenever the announcement went up. Yeah.
Yeah.
About the 15th, I think things started to come together.
Yeah. And all of this, like, we only spent like a week, I think, working on the initial announcement that's posted on StimHack. So if you notice any rough edges, that's kind of why. But yeah, so anyway, the whole idea here is just that, again, like, none of us really want this to stop. Like, regardless of whether or not FFG is doing whatever they're doing with Netrunner, we don't see any reason to continue to not try to foster participation in OP, and we don't really see any reason to let this community not continue to be a community together, because, you know, one of the things, again, that makes the game special is the community that around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
most definitely.
Like, there's no other community like the Netrunner community. It's very inclusive, welcoming. You know, even major tournaments, like, you'll see they're relaxed a lot of the times. It's few and far between that you'll meet players that are, even the super tryhardy ones, that are you know, really cutthroat like they are in, like, say, like the other game. You know which one I'm talking about. You turn land sideways.
Yeah. tapping all day.
Yep.
So yeah, man, this is great. So a certain ones that I've seen, and what we've done is I've linked. Obviously, you can probably just go into the description of this video, and you can grab the @ I've got the @ Project NISEI. That's how to get a hold of you guys right now on Twitter. We have the FAQ document linked down below for people to go through. And then obviously you've talked about where people can get in touch with the Slack chat and get involved. So it sounds like you guys have the you know, this base group of people that want to see it go, and you know, like you said, you don't want to be this dictatorship. So right away, it's you know, let's get people in, let's do this this nomination stuff, and I think that's really cool. You know, you're building a solid foundation on cement rather than popsicle sticks. So that's you know, that's super phenomenal to see. So what else? Like, how can people get involved then right now? So what's the steps? Like, what are we doing next here for Project NISEI?
So the first thing that we wanted to do was announce and, you know, get a solid name and let people know that the initiative existed. So what we're moving into now, and I don't have a solid ETA on when this is all going to happen, but it's going to be very soon. And we're trying not to give super vague answers on everything, but, you know, in some cases you have to. But the next step right here is to recruit what we call the board. So, like I said previously, those of us that are working out right now, we consider ourselves acting staff. So we're not permanent. And the idea here is to announce that there are going to be applications available for people to fill out, answer a couple of questions, so that another group of people, our initial selection committee, which is Jacob very specifically did not want to be on it because he may want to take a role in the uh, organization moving forward, and he figured, selecting yourself is kind of a conflict of interest. But it'll be John Josecki on Slack,
Nice.
Tim Bunn from Team Covenant,
Solid.
Kenny Deacons, Simon Moon on
Yeah.
Slack, Anthony Giannetti, Sneak Slack.
Yep.
Owners,
That's the Stim Godfather himself.
yeah, Stim Hack Godfather himself. And then we've got Dan DiArgenio, of course, the two-time world champ.
World's greatest.
Yeah, lover of Tecate beer. And then we've got Catherine Underwood. She's been a moderator on Slack for UK channel
Yep.
and longtime players. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to take those applications once we announce them. They're going to go through those, and they're going to help us select a committee.
Nice. So anyone out there, if you're interested, make sure you get your stuff in soon rather than later, so you don't miss any windows and deadlines there. So do you guys feel like you're just going to be laying the groundwork for now for continuing organized play, continuing the competitive side of Netrunner like that? Or are you guys looking to continue development of the actual game, like a fan spin-off, next cycle after Reign and Reverie? Or
So that is an interesting question, actually. And, what I'm going to say right now is that is actually up to the board. So the idea, yes, is to continue organized play and to eventually maybe go into different formats, different legalities, maybe update the MWL or create cards or whatever. But very clearly what we're trying to say right now is that as the acting staff, those aren't going to be our decisions.
Well said.
Yep. And so what I was going to get at after what can people do to help is after we build the board, we're going to need more volunteers. We're going to need a lot of different stuff. This is going to be something where it's not going to be a job. So people are going to shift in and out. They're going to only be able to dedicate what amount of time they can. So we're going to need people that want to organize in their communities or know people that want to organize in their communities. We're going to need, way down the line, we might need artists. We're going to need people that know the game to balance rules. And the idea is once we get the board formed, that those people will help seek out that talent. So I would say just people should stay plugged in. They should stay involved. And they should really just, make sure that they're on the StimHack forums or Slack or any of these community resources that we've put together, not we as the organization, but we as the community, so that they're aware of what's going on, and when we make announcements that they're plugged in. And if we make an announcement that we need a bunch of people to volunteer to help us put together, say, a new MWL, that a bunch of people can raise their hands and go, oh, yeah, me. Yep, I can help with that. So even if they don't have, so like with the initial board, we're hoping for some people that do have a lot of time to commit. If you don't have a lot of time to commit, there's still a place for you. Like I said, with all that stuff previously, like just stay plugged in and see if there's something that you can do. And then once we have those people in place, message one of them and we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good. So it sounds like that we're really just standing at the, that fork in the road, and we're just looking to see what path we're going to take based on the resources that you guys have available, or that show interest here.
Absolutely.
I have no doubt that you guys will be flooded with people willing to step up and do it, because like you said, great community. There's already a lot of resources, big names that have already pledged dedication to the cause.
Hmm.
You have the developing team of Jinteki.net, saying
Hmm.
that I think they're I'll paraphrase, but I think their statement was once they officially, finish off the Fantasy Flight line of stuff and solidify it down and iron all that stuff out, then they are more than welcome or more than willing to continue on and work with you guys on whatever happens there. Netrunner DB said they, officially stay active and carry on partnership with Project NISEI and always be running. And know the meta has signed up to keep going. So you got some of the big community resources right there.
Hmm.
As of right now, you think that the best is Project NISEI going to have its own site? Is it going to spin off? Is it going to break into say its own Slack chat? Is it going to have its own Facebook page group for people that kind of want to keep things separate, or do you think it's just going to be kind of all encompassing into, like you said, the community resources that we've seen now?
So, as it is right now, we've kept to Slack mostly in these initial stages so as to not split the community. And we've also done our announcements and some stuff on Slack, not Slack, StimHack, for the same reason. As far as whether or not we're going to split off fully, again, that's actually another thing for the board to decide. As I said, we're all just really committed to making sure that we put it together just a framework, and then whoever steps in the role can make it into whatever it needs to be.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so if that means staying on StimHack and using StimHack as a base of operations, great. If that means registering a website, making a website for the organization, also great. I think one of the big things that we do need right now, though, is something that you touched on, is just, support and buy-in is going to be huge. We do have an email right now set up as a line of communication to us that's projectnisei@gmail.com. So we are trying to consolidate some of the resources, creators, things of that nature, and make sure that they know that we support them so that they can continue their operations. It would be a huge blow to the community, for instance, if Jinteki.net wasn't available.
No.
And we just wanted to, reach out to them and Netrunner DB and all those resources and say, hey, there's at least a couple of dozen of us that want to keep playing Netrunner. What about you guys? And so we, if we can get, just a little bit more buy-in, maybe some of those creators and resource maintainers want to message us and just say, hey, I'm at least going to continue my project, even if they're not going to pledge full support to our project, because, it's just starting. I'm amazed that you even wanted to talk to me.
I talk to anybody that wants to talk to me, man. That's how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just making sure that we as a community kind of believe that there is a future there, I think is really important. And then just kind of having people raise their hands to go, yep, we're still in it. Yep, we're still in it. Yep, we're still in it. I think is pretty necessary. I did have another thing to say. It's a completely different subject, and actually, I figured that I should mention this because it was one of our oversights in our initial announcement. One of our things with NISEI, as we're forming as an organization, that we want to make sure that also that people are really aware of is we're trying to have a commitment to diverse voices as well
Nice.
as community leaders. Hollis is not on here, so can I steal real talk duties for a bit?
Yeah, man. I don't think he'd
Okay.
mind in this situation.
Okay, so the real talk here is that a lot of our community leaders, a lot of the big voices in the community, they've been your traditional male white gamers, um, and there's that's not to say that there's anything wrong with those people, but one of our ideals here was taking how inclusive the game of Netrunner was and what FFG left us with and making that actually even better. And one of the things that we're kind of working towards is really integrating that as part of the framework of NISEI. So one of the things that we're going to be doing in our initial announcement, we didn't say anything about having uh, like a diversity manager or an inclusion manager, but we are going to be adding that as one of our roles.
Hmm.
If people have read the roles document, that initially wasn't included, but there's been some talk among community members about making sure that we are including people that normally don't get a voice in some of these spaces. So I mean that means like we are actually probably going to be um, basing our selection on um, making sure that we have a diverse set of voices. We're not just going to be choosing community leaders, well-known people. We're not going to be choosing just guys. We're not going to be choosing just straight guys. We're not going to be. So we're going to try to make sure that we have a mix of voices in this thing moving forward when that selection process does begin. And the reason I want to mention this is this is like another like real talk sort of thing is after we made an update to our initial announcement that Catherine Underwood was going to be joining our selection committee, I heard some rumblings on Slack that there were some people on like Reddit and 4chan that were basically saying that we were trying to shove SJW stuff down their throats.
Mm.
And I wanted to be like really clear, like speaking directly to those people. Um, if they're going to be like that, they don't really have a place in a community that we're going to help drive forward. We want to be really clear that we're only interested in creating a space that is inclusive for people of all backgrounds. Like that's not an option. That's and being against that when you're um, in our community is not an option. We want to move forward with this spirit of inclusiveness as much as possible and build that directly into the organization. So as far as things that are solid right now, that's like the one thing that we're trying to make sure is absolutely part of the foundational bones of this project, so to speak. So I hope that wasn't too real.
No, man. I think you say what needs to be said, right?
Yeah.
I think that I think it's good to hear and to lay. Like I said, you guys are taking your time. You're laying a great foundation, and this this zero tolerance approach. I think it's what we've needed for a long time. We've always, the community has always policed itself and done a
Mhm.
very good job in the past. And
Mhm.
it's not to say that it wasn't without its speed bumps or its roller coasters of ups and downs, but we've always come out clean through
Mhm.
the other side, and it's good to see that that's being. I don't want to say cleaned up, but I'm trying to think of
Mhm.
a better way to say it. It's good to see that it's being built in.
Mhm.
it's in the recipe from the start that you guys are thinking about that and laying that, again, foundation for something that I think is really important, because it wasn't just in the community. You saw diversity across the Netrunner story in the in the world of Android itself, right? So I mean, let's see that carry through. Really, really cool. I think it's I can't thank you guys enough for stepping up and putting something like this as quickly. But like you said, a project like this is only as successful as those people that are willing to divulge time. And I can tell you that time is hard to come by the older you get in life. So kudos and tip of the cap to those people that are helping out, or however you can, however this community embraces you. But is there a way? Are you guys? Maybe this is part of the board process afterwards. But are you guys building a donation fundraising page, or is there really no need for that yet until more plans get solidified?
There's been a surprising amount of questions related to money, actually. And to be honest with you, just like a lot of the other stuff that I was talking about, it's a board decision, but we have been thinking about that, legal ramifications, things of that nature. We'll let people know if and when that's required. We don't need it right now. Right now, we're just planning. We're getting people together. We're seeing what direction the thing needs to go, and then from there, we'll figure out what kind of dosh is needed. For now, as I said, our main basis, people can get involved and talking about things by getting on the StimHack Slack, getting in the future channels. People can definitely message us at projectnisei@gmail.com. We're going to be posting articles on StimHack. So really, all we need right now, and I know this was a long answer, is not money. We just need visibility and support, and then once we figure out the rest of it, we'll get back to everybody.
Sounds good to me, man. So yeah, as long as people are out there showing their support, showing their interest, that's all you guys are really feeding off. That's the raw emotion that's carrying this project through. So yeah, kudos to that. Like we said, that this was just basically a short and sweet little blast cast. Let everybody know that watches Bad Publicity that this is real. That don't look to the game. Don't believe that fake news that's out there right now. The game's not going away. The game's not dying. Those are false flags. There's people
absolutely.
All we're having is another lead design shift. We've done it before, and we came out okay every time. So this is what's happening. We're just shifting the lead designer to more of a design committee, and a couple people, strong voices, taking the reins, and I believe in them. And if you guys need anything from us, brother, you're more than welcome to hit me up like you did, and we can jump back on, make some more announcements. Maybe in a couple months, we'll do an update, a part 2, and you can blast some words out to the community again when we do the board announcements or whatnots. However you guys do it, whatever you need from BP, we're here. The other guys, Hollis wanted to be here, but unfortunately he could not. He had some previous engagements, as this little shindig was put together on rather quick notice, working people's schedules out. So he does send his regards over Facebook Messenger. But man, any last comments, any last pump ups, other than for people to go check out the FAQ and to hit up the Slack?
Yeah, not a whole lot, man, other than I just want to say again, thank you for just letting us do this quickly. I'm sorry that it was short notice and that there wasn't a whole lot written out.
Good.
But next time we'll get something a little bit more pro. So
It's how things are on Bad Publicity. Why script things out now? We haven't scripted things for 6 years.
that's fair. That's fair.
We never
That's
going to
fair.
change.
All right.
So cool. Thanks a bunch for your time. Thanks for your commitment, and I guess get out and vote when you can. I really feel like this is more an electoral little brought to you by. This is brought to you by the people of NISEI. Make sure you guys vote. Rock the vote when it comes out. Get involved. Support. Look in the. I think every link that you possibly need is in that FAQ document right now. So go through there in the description, and we will catch you later. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, sir.